We were almost late. I looked up
I
and
got
it's 7 o'clock.
I gotta find the show link buried in the is is it Windows on a Mac?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, I
It
had to
was it was
it was
Windows on a Mac before it was Windows on Windows.
well, it was buried under all of the multiple windows. I gotta tell you, I feel like I've been run over by an 18 wheeler.
Yeah. I mean, between last night and scrambling today, and I went to the city council meeting today. You were busy doing homework and other stuff to try to get ready for tonight. And it's just a lot going on.
I mean, it is more than the average person can consume. I mean, there has been so much happen within I mean, the last 24 at least 24 hours, 48 hour, I mean, just there's been a lot happen. So much happen.
A lot. I mean, circus, clown show, those are all appropriate terms for a lot of the shenanigans that went on. Uh, but I gotta say, and I'll just share this for a second, we'll get into it more after the break, but I was really amazed and just had a great feeling over all the folks that showed up at that charter commission. Well, I guess we have to call it a meeting last night. I mean, there were dozens of people there. The video that you see on YouTube doesn't do it justice.
No, it doesn't do justice at all. And hat tip to the public for showing up for a consequential meeting because I was shocked at the number of people that were there. I mean, it it was an impressive turnout, and I think it moved the needle.
I think it did help. And not only that, they turned out and a lot of folks stayed just as long as they could. I mean, we were prepared for a marathon meeting and a lot of folks stayed there to the very end. A lot of them stayed for 2.5, 3 hours, got up and said their piece. And so it was a
Now,
great show of support.
now, look, we're just getting this thing kicked off, and we're getting started. I'm already seeing our numbers hovering around 70 people, and people starting to join in and all. And there, like we're alluding to, there has been more things happen than we can't cover it. There's no way we can cover it all.
No. Well,
We're
look,
gonna have to cherry pick this stuff.
I mean, logistically, it last night was a 3.5 hour meeting. It went virtually nonstop the entire time with very few pauses. So if we tried to cover it, we would be here literally till dawn. And I don't know about you, I'll leave the software running, but I'm certainly not going to be here till dawn unless
Yeah,
somebody wants to buy us breakfast. Uh,
yeah, but look, here's the thing. I mean, so I don't know. I got to tell you, I am just kind of all over the place since yesterday and the day before. I mean, because there were shots fired left and right. It didn't matter who, where, whatever. You were getting a shot fired at you. Everybody was getting shots fired. The only people, I think the only people was the true media. They're the only ones that didn't get shots fired at them, and probably because they didn't know what was going on. They
right,
really didn't.
right. Hey,
And
that's very true.
yeah, and overall, somebody weeks ago said to me that I forget which meeting it was now, but they said, who's the biggest loser in all of this? And they said it's the city as a whole.
Yeah.
And regardless of all of us people, we all have a role, you might say. But aside from that, the city as a whole, they said, because in the boardrooms of businesses that consider Bossier City as an option potentially for the future, they sit back and they look at the way we do business in Bossier. And do you think that the other cities that are competitor cities to try to garner that business, do you think they are not going to use what has become Bossier City to their advantage to say, do you really want to go and do business like that? Is that how you do? I,
Well,
I would I would contend they're not.
well, I'll say this, and then we'll start edging towards the uh, commercial break and all that. But Look, it's not. I want to make this clear to everybody watching. It's not lost on us the fact that when we point out the shenanigans that are going on, as companies and potential businesses do their due diligence on potentially moving to Bossier City, they're going to find this stuff. It's on the internet. It's out there. But we're highlighting what goes on inside those city council meetings that somebody's not going to sit through hours and hours and hours and watch doing their due diligence. But that fact is not lost on us. So it's very simple. Look, any public body, any elected official, any government entity around here, if you don't want us to point out the stupid stuff that you do, don't do the stupid stuff. It's that simple.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
If they do, if they do that, we'll
but
pack up our toys and go home.
but we're the bad guys,
Oh yeah.
and we lie, we deceive, we
We don't live in the city.
we don't live in the
Newsflash, did you
city.
know that you don't live in Bossier City, Duke? Did you know that?
Newsflash, I got a business there. Newsflash, I gave 20 years of my life, got needle sticks from people off of a street that I have no idea whether I contracted anything or not, or will I die from it tomorrow? Have no idea. Yeah, I made those sacrifices, the same as the firemen that are there today and the policemen that are today. But you know what? That carries no weight in some people who have a monetary interest in being in control of Bossier
All,
City
but
politics.
Duke, that pales in comparison to the sacrifice that those charter commission members are making, sitting up there in those meetings and trying to get the good work of the city done for absolutely free. I mean, we were told that.
Yeah, that's
So,
absolutely right. But I tell you what, I think we're going to go there, and we're going to go all the way there, and we're going to share some stuff that we've alluded to in past shows about information that we said we were going to bring in a future show, and some of the bloviating, I'm going to use a Rush Limbaugh term, some of the bloviating that was done by people. You know what? I'll tell you what, we're going to share some information that we've sat on for years. We're going to blow it out there.
ooh.
And
Well,
you know what?
all right.
We'll see what sticks on the wall, and we'll see. If you want
Well,
to call us liars, then I tell you what, let's go all the way with it. Let's go
well,
all the way.
And here's what we're going to do because we got already got well north of 100 people watching and we're only 7 minutes in. So we're going to actually skip the break tonight. So if you haven't made your popcorn and got your drink ready yet, right now will be the time to do it because we're going to ramble on for another few minutes. I'll just do a simple little intro for our sponsors and the people that help us. Number one
Look, it's
would be
getting it. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you. It's getting spicy already. No, Ryan Haygood, I'm not going to do that kind of crap to change my voting address to my business so that I can do stuff in vote. That's like moving churches, because there's more attendees at a church to get more votes. I'm not going to
oh,
do that.
you
You
don't
don't
want to
do
vote
those things.
hop like some people church hop?
No, I'm not
Oh,
doing that kind of crap. I mean, the other people, they can do that. I'm not doing that. I mean,
all right.
anyway.
Let me try to pay a few bills with somebody that helps us out here. Number one being the Ferrises over at Pelican Training. They've been a big supporter of ours for quite a while, and we appreciate all that. And then over here, way in this corner, of course, your wonderful wife who anyway, wonderful wife who might be mad at me. I don't know. Anyway, Katie Anna Mortgage. Y'all
Well, I
been
think she
there
clarified
since
she's mad at both of us.
well, I told her to get in line behind Juliana, but anyway, we may have to move her in front of Juliana. All right, so y'all been in business since what, 1998, Duke? Is that
27 years, and it's no small thing to be in, it's no small thing to be, and I'm telling the story for all small business owners. It's not just us, but 20 plus years to be in business by yourself, weathering the lawsuits of the likes of the Parkses feeding off of you and things like that, over the years. Yeah, they're out there. It's no
okay?
small to be able to continue to be in business over all of those years, and the hurdles that small businesses face. Small businesses, the majority of businesses in this country, and there are people that that's all they do. They just feed off of you.
Well,
They're like a damn tick, just sucking blood out of you.
and
And the Parkses are one of those type people.
And let's be honest, because you and I have had this discussion several times over the years about how doing this show and what we talk about and reveal and just put out there for the public to consume um, probably isn't the best help to the businesses, let's put it that way. But I will say this, on balance, with both your business and my tech stuff and all that, uh, I have a lot of people that come up and say, "Hey, we really appreciate what you guys are putting out there and doing it. We don't always say it on the show or comment, but we really appreciate somebody speaking up."
Yeah, and it's been a long time coming. It was the reason we did this show. It goes back to my Bossier, and it goes
Right?
back to, there was a public forum where people could voice their opposition to government activities. And I think that our show and us putting this forward, we put it on steroids with you, with the technology and your prowess, technological prowess. We were able to, multiply that and put it on steroids here to show what's going on in your local government. And look, all of y'all watching the show, I mean, I can remember, Rex, when we did the first shows, we could count on one hand the number of people that paid attention.
Yeah, we
And
were wondering
now,
if anybody was going to listen.
but I, Juliana Parks and Vicky Whitman, there I said your name. You can criticize us all that you want, but the proof is in the pudding. How many council meetings has anybody watched live where there were over 80 something people watching a Bossier City Council meeting live?
You're
They're
right, and there
few
was
and far
today.
between.
Yeah,
I wrote the highest number I saw today watching the council meeting. 88 people. There were 88 live viewers watching it on YouTube today.
yeah,
And
that's a lot for the city council meeting.
and to all of y'all watching, I'm proud of y'all for stepping up to the plate and paying attention to what's going on in government. And in no small part, Bossier Watch and our audience that's watching this show, it's all because of y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all are doing what you need to do. You're being informed, and then you're sharing all of that. So anyway,
Yeah. So, all right, there we go with all the thanks and all that. Let's get right into the content. So, hopefully, that gave folks enough time to make some popcorn and get you a stiff drink because the Charter Commission meeting last night went on. It was an actual, I guess you'd call it meeting. It was more of a meeting than the last kind of sort of meeting, but it went on. What was it? 3.5 hours, 3 hours, 20 minutes? I don't know. I lost count.
now I don't remember exactly where the dialogue was in the meeting, but there were some offense taken to coining it as a clown show. But
Gee, I
I would
wonder where they
contend
got that from.
I would contend it was nothing but a clown show.
It
That was
was.
an accurate description.
Look, news flash to them, and we'll get into it. Uh, if y'all, and you know who I'm talking to, well, I'll just name y'all. It's Juliana the Princess, and Sandra, and Vicky, and what's the Miss Wilhite's name? Forgot her name off the top
Yeah,
of my head. Anyway,
Miss Wilhite. But I got to tell you, I don't know if I class her in there because
well, I'm just saying, if they would have just let everybody speak and not, but I don't know. It's like putting catnip in front of a cat with Juliana. She just can't hold her tongue. Somebody termed her the petulant child, and that is a fitting term. It might have been you. The petulant child.
I wish I
She,
could get credit for that. But look, if you scrub through these
uh,
videos like I've been scrubbing through and play them at 2.5 times speed, I mean, and you heard her comments at two and
oh,
a half times speed.
yeah, we
I
got
mean,
we
my
got to do
gosh,
that.
yeah, I could see you doing that. But
It's straight up Brady Bunch, Marsha. All right, let's get. Oh, wait, before we get into that, hold on. I'm going to set this meeting up with a special little 10 or 15-second video. Shall we do that? So, I don't know if you're a Breaking
sure,
Bad. I don't know if you're a Breaking
sure,
Bad fan,
Breaking
but
Bad. And wait a minute, that's the
Breaking
drug
Bad.
dealers, the people cooking drugs and making
Uh,
drugs and selling drugs everywhere, right?
bingo. Yeah, the school
Yeah,
teacher
okay. Yeah, I
guy that.
remember that.
Yeah,
That was on
okay.
Netflix. I don't watch Netflix anymore.
Well, yeah, but it was originally on AMC before Netflix and before we all quit watching shows because of the cancel culture and all that. All right, so here's my now, folks. This is not my usual technical talent. I did this very quickly, but this is the essence of the meeting last night, and you'll
Now,
understand this more in a minute.
now we've been accused before. Do I always have any idea what you do? Do I?
No, no, you
I
don't. We
don't.
don't coordinate. Contrary to
I'm
popular belief, we don't coordinate, and usually we're literally flying by the seat of our pants, short of some notes.
so I'm along for the ride with y'all. The same. I mean, I'm just along for the ride. So
Yeah.
let's take the ride. Let's see where we're going here.
All right. It's pretty short, but it'll kind of set the tone. Here we go. Not my best work, I know, but y'all get the point. And that will make
You
much more
know,
sense in a minute when we see this meeting.
I don't know that everybody is going to understand that, but they will here after we show this video.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. All
okay,
right.
we are so far off into the weeds. I think we need to take a step back and we need to frame everything for everyone because somebody
Okay.
messaged me, Rex. We need to get serious about this. I mean,
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's,
we
God forbid, let's get serious.
see, we are amateur journalists, right? So anyway, I feel like a total amateur right now. I really do. So the term limits petition, it was submitted, and big press conference this past Thursday, and uh, lo and behold, all of a sudden we've got to have a charter commission meeting, and the alleged reason that we got to have a charter commission meeting is because we've got to take action to be able to. And I'm not. I'm basing off the meeting that didn't happen before. The charter commission supposedly had this. They didn't supposedly. It was on video. We got the video. We recorded
Mhm.
it, whether they deleted it or not. Oh, am I? Wait a minute. Am I lying there?
It's,
No, we
it's
did.
hard to
We did.
tell, but
We did record it, and it did. They did try to happen, and yes, Juliana Parks did, in violation of Robert's rules, want to move forward, and in her legal opinion, thought that it would be legal to do it with only a non-quorum. Anyway, but that's probably a lie I'm telling here. But anyway, so they scheduled another meeting without the chairman to be or not chairman to be Shane Cheatham, and adopted an agenda without Shane Cheatham or with Shane Cheatham, whichever way you want to call it, and which was happening yesterday.
okay.
And at this meeting, they decided that they were going to address everything that had been previously addressed, including term limits, and I will say it, allegedly, we're
Allegedly.
going to overdo all the term limits. Now, that's where I was going. In the previous meeting before this meeting, they articulated, and we can play the video again. I think it was either Juliana or Moorhart articulated that, we've got to have the other side on the ballot for people to vote on, or something to that effect. She was basically saying we've got to have this charter commission thing so that we can compete against the people's petition for term limits. That was their whole why. They
Okay.
finally admitted it and acknowledged it. They said the quiet part out loud for everybody to see.
Right.
And yes, I recognize that both Rex, you're a liar, and I'm a liar, and that
Oh, yeah.
what they
All you
say
folks
on
are liars. Everybody that participates is a liar, but
you're all liars, and
yeah.
one big happy family of liars in Bossier. But they said it on video. I mean, and the video doesn't lie what their intent was. So fast forward to this meeting yesterday, and
Hmm.
I think I knew it was going to be okay. You coined it a clown show. Now,
Hmm.
I in my opinion, I knew it was going to be a clown show, and I
Right.
think you knew it was going to be a clown show, but I
Mhm.
think that verdict was questionable by the majority of the people out there in the public.
Yeah, they may not have really realized to the extent that it was going to be a clown show. I mean, because look, let's be truthful, and we talked about this before. We reach, our average show reaches several thousand people within about 48 to, let's say, 72 hours on average. And then over time, a few thousand more. And we've got 6,000 very active followers. But when you run the math on the number of voters in Bossier City, we really only have a small percentage that are paying attention. Now, we know that some folks watch and pay attention to the social media, and we never see it, and social media doesn't tabulate everybody. So we realize some of that's going on. And of course, they, all the good old boys, as we termed them from the very beginning, pay attention to what we're doing. I mean, it got referenced at the Charter Commission meeting. It gets referenced at the City Council meeting. They may not say Bossier Watch directly, but they'll allude to it. So we know that we don't have the full audience of Bossier City. We never intended to get that. So there is a certain percentage of folks out there that, they're going about their daily lives. They're going to work, they're coming home, picking up the kids from school, going to baseball, football, whatever the scenario is, soccer, whatever, fishing. And they're not ultra involved in politics like we are. That we live, eat, and breathe this stuff pretty much all the time. And we sometimes have a skewed perspective because we just assume everybody thinks this way, but not everybody's plugged in. So a lot of people showed up at that meeting after we put out the call, and Wes and Sobo lived in, and a bunch of other people shared it out. So we appreciate all that. And a bunch of people showed up. I don't think they really expected it, like you said, it to be such a clown show.
No, I don't think that they did. And I think why do I think and look, we're not engaging as many folks commenting in the comments, but I mean, I'm thinking, why do you think? Because it was obvious to me. It was obvious to me that when you spoke and I spoke, normally, so like my perspective has been that we're not kind of at these meetings, that we're not out front. But this was
Right.
important. We've had a
Right.
role in this from the beginning, and I thought it was imperative that we did speak. But when we did speak, I mean, I would contend I didn't mean for there to be the clown show to start, but I feel like that there was this visceral reaction to us speaking.
Do, do you think Juliana got a little sideways right off the bat? Did we trigger her? Is that the case? Because
Oh,
you went first. We got to get to the video. You went first, and she immediately lit into you. And of course, all right, that's fine. Let's go for round two. So then I got up to speak, and of course, she immediately lit into me, and neither one of us were having it. So yeah, it triggered her right off the bat.
but why is it that anyone is triggered about us? But why should
Right.
they be triggered about us showing or talking about what is going on in the public, or showing what they're doing, in government, in politics? Why are they so afraid about us exposing? You know, we say exposing, they would disagree with there's nothing to expose because I hadn't done anything wrong. But why would they have a problem with us talking about what's going on? Why are they so scared of transparency? Why do they not want to talk about that? I mean,
It's
Juliana,
like
is it the library board? Is it because there's still, you went out there telling everybody that all these, you had to take over the library board because all of these horrible books that were being exposed to our kids, somebody had to do something about it. And then lo and behold, come to find out it's all still there and you had not done anything about it.
yeah.
Zero, nada.
I, look, I don't know what the whole answer is. Cassie Rogers just said, well, they triggered me with that damn bell. Maybe it triggered her too, made her mad from the start. So I, let me cut over to the video. Let me,
Yeah, let's get to the video. Enough of us jabbering. Y'all make your own
yeah.
decisions. I'll stand on that. Let the video be the case.
Yeah, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to play the KSLA video. It's about 2.5 minutes, and we're going to go straight into the replay. This will kind of also set the tone because I felt like KSLA did a pretty good little excerpt on it on their page. So we're going to do that, and we're getting right into the video. Here we go.
Tonight, controversy erupts inside the Bossier City Charter Commission meeting. Now, KSLA's Jasmine Franklin shares the first alert on what unfolded inside the council chambers.
Is this really a meeting, or should we just show up with popcorn and drinks and watch the circus, which is apparently what we're doing?
It was a heated meeting inside Bossier City Council chambers as the City Charter Commission discussed several controversial topics.
Before we keep chasing rainbows and arguing with each other like children, I would like to just see what we need to do to nominate 2 people.
Dozens of residents attended.
That gives you a pretty good view.
Many speaking out against the Charter Commission's agenda.
You know, your last speaker was giving you a warning on the business that you're about to conduct, that you're probably going to find yourself in a lawsuit.
And during the meeting, arguments began between Charter Commission members.
Let me tell you something. You decided not to show up to a meeting after y'all lost the vote 4-3.
I was sick, and I can bring you a doctor note just like I've offered to.
That's still funny.
Y'all lost a vote 4-3, and you decided not to attend the meeting.
You were texting during the meeting without notice and without the public to be able to see what you were talking about with 4 people, which is a violation of open meetings law. So don't you educate me.
I text after.
All right, I got to stop it right there for a second. So I got to correct her with that. All right, he can text during the meeting. It's not against the law at all.
Well, see, y'all are all wrong. Y'all are all wrong because from her legal perspective, 4 people is a quorum. Although everybody else believes that 5 people is a quorum, but to her, 4 people is a quorum. So, I mean, I could see where she's confused.
But just to correct the record, it's okay to text if you want to. But what she is, well, we're going to hear more about it. She wouldn't respond, or her attorneys wouldn't respond to the open meetings, or excuse me, the public information request for her cell phone record. So she's trying to throw everybody off. All right, sorry, I had to stop it.
But look, as we will show in this video here in just a minute, you know, like she said, she's not responsible for, how did she say it? We'll have to play it and find it. But I mean, she's not responsible for the open meetings law. That was a point that I tried to make. She doesn't acknowledge.
It's not up to them. They don't have to follow it because it's not their deal.
It's not her responsibility to be bound by open meeting laws. That's what I think she was trying to, you know, imply. And I went back up there to the mic. I think I went back up there twice and alluded to it. And she didn't correct me multiple times. And she wants to be a judge. Y'all better think long and hard on that one. Anyway, keep going, and let's get on to the video and show everybody. Because I don't want to be accused of lying about what was said here. I want everybody to see it themselves.
And this is only 2.5 minutes of a 3 hours. So here we go.
A meeting, by the way.
No, it was during the meeting.
During arguments, one commission member asked for the board to call a vote to end the meeting and reschedule.
I mean, I thought.
Make a motion that we end this meeting that really hasn't even started, but it's been a bunch of this and that and back and forth.
When the Charter Commission did not agree with his motion, he left.
Y'all figure it out.
Yeah.
Now that he's gone, I would like to say that Mr. Cheatham has approached me in the parking lot and told me himself that he only wanted this because he's mad at David Montgomery. And so for him to stand up here and say that we're conniving, that is not a lie.
Call to order, please.
The meeting agenda had.
And we want to note, David Johnson got up and walked out at that point as well.
Now, Rex, I want to put you on the spot here, and you don't know, you have no idea what I'm fixing to say.
Drum roll, please.
Because is it accurate or inaccurate that you were a party to that conversation that she's trying to say that Shane made that comment?
Well, if she's referring to the infamous parking lot incident, then she did, in fact, just lie. But, you know, it's okay for attorneys. They get to lie all the time.
Well, because I'm told, I mean, another source told me that that conversation was the conversation that you were a party to, and I've been meaning to ask you, so I just asked you on live TV
Yeah.
whether or not that conversation happened or not.
All right, so I've referenced this before, but I'll run through it real quick again. I can't remember, it was like the second or third meeting, maybe it was the first meeting, I don't remember. Anyway, we were walking out to the parking lot. It was me, Shane, the Colonel. I think Chris Smith was there. There were about 6 people around, and we were chatting as we were walking out. We got to approximately where the Colonel's Suburban was parked, and Juliana kind of had walked up, and I didn't even say anything to her. I was just going to be nice. Well, she made some little snippy comment, and I told her, I said, Juliana, this is not the time or place for it. Shane said that as well. I think Preston may have been there, so it may have been Preston was one of the other people. The Colonel even admonished her, not the time and place, save this for the meetings, and she wasn't having any of it. And she said, and I quote, "Oh, you'll talk about me on your show, but you won't talk to me face to face here in the parking lot." So I proceeded to let her have it because I'm the same in real life as I am behind this camera. In that, and so she made a couple other comments. She got so pissed off, she turned around and stomped off to her car. And in that conversation, Cheatham never made reference to David Montgomery. So I absolutely didn't hear it. So if that's the conversation she's referring to, well, as usual, she just lied again. Oh, but we got to be careful, Duke, because we might be bordering on slander, even though there's an elevated bar for public officials. And since she's a public official multiple times over, the bar's like 3 times as high for her. But
Oh,
I
wait a minute.
digress.
Well, that's right. She did make threats during the middle of this commission meeting.
Yes, she
I
did.
heard, but just like in one ear and out the other, I didn't even hear her when she was threatening me. But
Oh, yeah.
it,
Well, All right. So, yeah, let's continue on. Good point. And there's the answer to your question. All right, here we go.
Popular items, including term limits and the resignation of 2 Charter Commission members. A city council meeting will be held
There's the
tomorrow
bell dinger.
in Bossier City. Jasmine Franklin, KSLA News 12.
All right, so I want to give credit where credit's due. I want to thank KSLA for covering that fairly well. That was a fair assessment in 2.5 minutes, the best they could do.
Yeah, and it was a lot to unpack, and there's no way that anybody that's on the outside could just suddenly pop in and catch up to everything. So for the news media to, frame it as close to neutral in the way that they did, I agree. I think they did a good job because it's a lot to unpack. And I've gotten a lot of messages from people that have asked, said, "Hey, are you guys tonight? Are you going to, explain where things are, where they're going, how this is all going to?" And yes, we are. We're
Yeah.
going to break it all down for y'all as best we can. But we got to kind of go through this video, and I don't know anything better than to just start hitting play.
There's only one way to do this. So, folks, this is 3 hours and 34 minutes long. We are not, we're going to do our usual deal and take it kind of step by step. We may skip over a few parts. We may just keep continuing on until we, run out of time for tonight, till we, are dozing off here, or until y'all are dozing off. But if you've got some questions, pop them up in the comments. There's a lot of folks watching. I'm trying to keep track of it, but we always try to go back after the show and also address comments. So just make sure that you do put some comments up there. If you have a real question, the best way to do it is in your comment, type the word question in all caps, and then your question after that. That makes it a little easier for me to search for things if you can think to do that. All right. Where shall we start, Mr. Lowry? I don't have it on live review. I'm going to hit live review so we can both control it.
Yep.
So we should both have control now. Because you time-stamped a bunch of this and took a look at it. So you want to start right there with the motion for Shane to start the meeting?
Yeah, so the reason that I timestamped this and the reason that I marked this, so at the initial outset of the meeting, so it's kind of lingering there. Everybody's sitting
Word
here. There was this,
silence.
there was this long delay and silence. Everybody's kind of like looking at each other like, okay, well, who's taking the lead here? Because up to this point, Morehart has self-appointed her to be in charge of everything. She puts out the agendas without sending it to the chairman. Case in point, Preston Friedley, wherever you are. Without his approval, she's, when he was the chairman, she was sending out agendas and meetings. Here again, this meeting and this agenda, she's just on her own acting. And, in the absence of the chairman, the vice chairman is the one that steps up. I mean, it says that in Robert's rules. Any organization that I've been a part of, that's the way it's always worked.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's this question lingering over the whole thing as to who's in charge.
yeah, it was like we were all sitting there, everybody's like, do. Now, I want to point out from a technical standpoint, I took the YouTube video and its inset up there in the upper right, well, wherever, anyway, of the main video that I shot with our Bossier watch camera. So that's why it's set like that. But I thought it was important to get both sides and some of the angles and some of the expressions and all that went on. So that's why you're seeing the picture-in-picture version of this. Okay. With that said, whenever you're ready.
To kick this thing off, everybody's sitting there kind of looking at each other. I mean, who's going to start? Who's on first? And Richard Ray makes a gesture. So here we go. If you watch Richard Ray in the right corner, you'll see it.
Mr. Ray just pointed at me, so
well,
I didn't come up with this agenda or schedule.
I'm an app. I got it. All
right. Okay, wait a minute. Let's start over.
Yeah. We were on chipmunk speed. Hold on. And you know what? Before you started again, Duke, so we do have a question. And thank you, Brian, for doing what I asked and putting the question there. It makes it real easy to see. Brian Addy says, why is this commission important now, given the mayor has announced term limits will be on the ballot? Are they discussing other things to modify? Catch me up. So,
well, Brian Addy, here's the problem. Just because the mayor said that it's going to be on the ballot doesn't mean that it's going to be on the ballot. In fact, your councilmen who are opposed to term limits are still fighting and are going to do everything in their power to try to prevent it from being on the ballot for you, the people, to be able to vote on it. Regardless of if it was 30,000 people or if it was 3,000 people, they would still do the same thing. They're going to fight it to try to prevent you from being able to have your voice heard.
And that was on full display. That was on full display at the city council meeting today, which we probably won't get to tonight because they had some issues with the video. They do have it. They've got to get it reposted. And we won't have time tonight, but we'll do the city council meeting probably next week, or we'll do a special show or something like that. So hope that answers your question, Brian. And thank you, Duke, for filling in. Okay.
Here we go.
Ready?
Mr. Ray just pointed at me, so even though I didn't come up with this agenda or schedule this meeting, I'll get us rolling here. Welcome to the City of Bossier City Home Rule Charter Review Commission, Monday, July 29th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. We will get started with a call to order and roll call, followed by the invocation by Mr. Lee Jeter and the Pledge of Allegiance led by David Johnson. Do I do roll call? Somebody else do roll call?
I can do it if you want.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so we're not going to bother everybody with that, but we're going to jump ahead. Let's go ahead and jump to the 9:17 mark. They did the pledge, they did the roll call, blah, 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 blah. And my first note here is the first jang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang-a. And
ding, ding. It is Sandra Salamanca from now on. We can't refer to her as Sandra Morehart. It's Sandra Salamanca.
Yeah, so y'all are going to hear what we're talking about. Here we go.
The people of Bossier City. It is through their permission that this body operates, makes decisions, and recommends changes. Every action taken by this commission is, at its core, an exercise of the authority granted by the people.
Ding.
This is a sacred trust.
I could just see her in a wheelchair with an oxygen bottle.
Reflected in the clarity
Ding.
of our agenda
And our apologies to Cassie Rogers.
You can turn that beeping off, please.
Yeah, so the 3 minutes is up.
Okay. And we voted in rules
Yes.
that they were allowed the 3 minutes?
In the minutes of 2:12, we voted 3 minutes.
3 minutes, okay. Mr. Marriott, if you would, please try to wrap up.
Even this public comment period, and my
Okay. So, I mean, look, how did she how was she able to make that so daggum loud? Rex?
Because
You're
it's
the
up
tech
by
guy.
it's up by our speaker, by our microphone. So it picks it up and pulls
mean-
it through the speakers.
I mean, she's like from the CPA class. I mean, how did she know to make that so, fingernail on the chalkboard? I mean,
no, and
she did a good job.
look, fair warning to anybody out there, and I say this with all due reverence. You're probably going to hear that dadgum ding or bell multiple times tonight. So trigger warning if you have to. We'll try to give you a warning if we can, but you're going to hear it tonight. So Cassie and everybody that may have an issue with that, you may want to lower your volume or something like that. Okay.
All right. So the next mark, I bumped us up, and Wes kept giving right out of the gate. He had a long, drawn out speech talking about constitutional rights. I mean, he was going through a litany of things. And, Shane Cheatham, who was the acting chair, I don't think anybody disputed that. At that point, nobody was disputing it. And ultimately, he ends up talking for another 3 minutes, and the buzzer goes off again. And I'm not sure if this was it, but let's play this part.
Just one moment. I apologize. You feel free to turn that off.
So
I don't believe there was a vote taken. There was a discussion in that meeting, but
if
there
you will
was not.
check the minutes, it is a motion, and it was unanimously passed.
Mr. Ray, do you have access to that?
I can,
Mr. Chairman.
There was this body adopted, may I speak?
Yes, sir.
This body adopted a 3-minute rule for public comment in one of the February meetings. It was a vote, it was unanimous.
Okay.
I go back and find it.
Yeah,
but
it
it
is
was,
Mr. Chairman?
It is February the 12th. The motion was made by Mrs. Parks, and it was passed unanimously.
and that was just for the public comment, not for the body. And-
Correct.
And reasonable rules can be placed on the speakers. That's enforceable.
He can present his comments to somebody else to read them. Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Al Brookins, 2129 Robert E. Lee Boulevard, Bossier City. I'm going to give my 3 minutes to Mr. Marriott to finish.
And Mr. Brookins is in the comments, folks. Good job.
Mr.
We'll
Chairman,
have 3 minutes.
before the timer resumes, I would like to ask that those minutes be read. I believe the portion that the commissioner and the city attorney are speaking to was specifically addressed to town hall meetings and was not conducive to this setting.
That's
If
not
you
correct.
would like, I believe Robert's rules.
Okay, I'm going to stop and explain to everybody if they're kind of
Like
confused
what the heck's
here.
going on? Yeah.
Yeah. So the deal was there was at a meeting, there was a discussion about limiting people. And of course, you know who brought it up? Juliana Parks. Of course, she doesn't want the public to speak. She would, I think, prefer that just the public you just have to take whatever it is your government overlords put down. You just got to accept it. But she wanted 3 minutes to limit everybody. And Shane was not present at that meeting. It is correct. And if she feels like, Juliana, if you're watching, which we know you probably are, if you want to send a message by somebody, if y'all want us to play the meeting where y'all you made the motion and said to limit everybody's speech to 3 minutes, we'll play it. If you feel like that would be that we wouldn't be lying, I mean, that's fine. We can play it if you want to, but we acknowledge that, yeah, they did make a motion. She did, to limit everybody's speech to 3 minutes. And that did in fact happen. Now, the thing was Shane was not at that meeting. He was absent. He wasn't there. So he didn't know.
You kind of left out a little bit of an important point, though, and you may not realize limiting the speech of individuals was one of the first things Juliana wanted to do. As a matter of fact, she kind of did it out of order, and so they said, well, we're going to talk about that in a minute. But literally, that was one of the first things that of substance that she mentioned in a meeting was limiting the speech.
That was in the very first meeting. Yeah, I remember it vividly because I thought how ironic that her first thought and her first consideration is limiting the speech of the public.
Yeah.
I
And she
mean,
wants to be the judge, don't forget.
yeah. So, let's keep rolling and see
Okay.
how this debate goes on the 3 minutes because anyway, here we go.
All right.
The order allows you to request a meeting of the minutes by the secretary.
Well, while you're finishing up, Richard, if you could just find that for us in those minutes, I would appreciate it.
She just read it from the.
I have it. So I have, by Mrs. Parks, motion to limit public comments to 3 minutes per agenda item on which action is taken. Second by Mrs. Whitman, no comment from the audience, no comments from the commission. Vote in favor is unanimous. Yeas, Preston Friedley Jr., Lee A. Jeter Sr., David Johnson, Sandra Morhart, Vicki Whitman, Lisa Wilhite, and Juliana Parks.
Hey, Duke,
Nays,
pause that for a
none.
second.
Absent.
So, folks, I just saw this comment pop up. So I'm going to share it out right now because I don't want to miss this. This is from Paige Schultz. She said, I believe one of you guys sat next to my husband today as he was relieved from his Bossier chamber duties and fired from his job for privately and personally emailing Juliana with the same respect shown to local residents last night that she decided to post to Facebook, but only leaving it available for her friends to comment their support. Well, first of all, Paige, we're sorry your husband got fired from his job over all this, because that's absolutely not right. They shouldn't do that. That's seeking retribution. May not be illegal because, well, they'll find some other reason, I'm sure. But let your husband know that, on behalf of all of us watching, we're sorry that he apparently got fired. So maybe he should send another message to it.
I would be interested to know a little more about that case. And what took place, and I would be willing to offer my help. I mean, if I don't know if he is civil service or what, but he should have a Bill of Rights to protect him, and that is the type of public official that you have, vindictive in Miss Parks, and if she went after someone for, whether you're a public servant or not, you have a right to be able to voice your opinion and submit it. If he didn't go out there publicly, anyway, I don't know. I just, I would love to try to help you in that case, whoever you are.
Yeah, send us a private message or send one to Duke or something like that. Anyway, we'll be glad to help if we can, or at least give you some advice. All right. Sorry, Mr. Lowry, but I thought that was important before it got lost in the commentary.
Okay, so I don't think that this is a city employee or something like that. I think this has something to do with the Bossier Chamber of Commerce. So it's what I think this is, and maybe this is going to be up the alley of Lisa Johnson.
Well, this is not looking good for the home team. Lisa, you're more than welcome to come on the show. Maybe you can set the record straight, or if you're watching, come in the comments. Okay. Let's see. Well, Ryan Haygood says Philip Rogers is on the board of Citizens Bank. He had him fired. Well, this is getting deeper. We hadn't even got through a couple of minutes of this marathon meeting, or circus, clown show, sorry. And already twists and turns.
So Philip Rogers, the police juror who is an associate of Juliana Parks on the police jury, who has some interesting dealings with the Cypress district. And, recently we saw, building piers out beyond the permitted, am I fixing to be taking the side of Robert Berry here? I mean, holy crap.
Well, enemy or politics makes strange bedfellows.
But I go back to something that Juliana Parks said long ago that, you're not going to get me to talk about my friends. Well, I mean, I thought she was elected to represent people of Bossier, not the other politicians who she deems as her friends. But apparently, you guys, and obviously, I mean, there's something to do here with Philip. Maybe Philip has the same ideology as Juliana, that
Maybe so.
they stick together and they don't represent you, the people.
Well, and so I put this comment up here from David Johnson. So, Paige, if y'all are watching, David Johnson says, reach out to him or reach out to us. Anyway, we'd be glad to put you in touch. And, y'all may not need it, but if you need the help, just at least ask. We'll do what we can.
So, has the Bossier Chamber of Commerce taken a position on term limits? Apparently, the Bossier Chamber of Commerce is taking a position politically.
They hadn't done that since the whole tax thing with the school board back in 2019. Odd.
Well, Lisa, are you guys are you taking a position? Apparently, you are.
Well, we're just asking the question because, again, I'm not doubting what Paige says, but we do need to know the full story, and all that. Now, granted, we don't trust any of them as far as we can throw them. And Lisa, I got to say, if this is true, your bungee jump cord is going to be much shorter than ours because you're not really invited anymore to bungee jump us. If this is true, if.
Well, back on point, because I have done lost track here.
Yeah, I don't even know where we are. Sorry, folks. But again, we're doing this, off the cuff without any real notes and all that sort of thing. So we're literally kind of winging it. We're going through this.
So speaking of limiting speech, let's listen to Juliana a little bit.
Right.
929 says that in meetings of public bodies such as school boards, the public may attend. Similarly, in some private organizations, parishioners may be permitted to attend. These attendees are not members of the meeting body and ordinarily have no right to participate. Some bodies, especially public ones, may invite non-members to express their views, but this is done under the control of the presiding officer, subject to any relevant rules adopted by the body and subject to appeal by a member. Often, by rule or practice, time limits are placed on speakers and relevance is closely monitored. And so I just want to make that point because I believe what it's been argued is that because we don't let anybody stand up and talk about anything they want to, or as long as they want to, that we're violating people's rights. But this is clear from Robert's Rules of Order that govern all meetings. And so.
All right, pause it right there for a second.
All of this is relevant.
So I just want to correct her again on that. She's either the best lawyer in the world or the worst. That's dealing with speakers on the board itself. It's not dealing with the public commentary period, where you can, like Wes says, dictate time, place, and manner. But as a government body, you honestly can't really restrict the topic that the citizens are gonna speak on during their commentary period. You can regulate the time, place, and manner. But again, they all tell you, oh, you got to only speak on this topic, but that's not really enforceable in a court of law. The problem is you got to sue them. And of course, here you have to go through the 26 JDC, and that's going to get you to nowhere till you appeal it. And I got to tell you, that's taking some serious money to do that. And so that's how the government bodies get by with that. But she is not being factually correct, and she is reading that out of context.
So a lot of times, Rex, we say when we're doing these shows, we say squirrel. And we say squirrel because you know how like a squirrel will just take off and he'll go running erratically in different directions and all that. And that's pretty much what we're doing. But I want to stop all of you as we're going through this. And I want to give you they call us liars. They say that, we're disparaging them, that we're spinning, that we're not telling the truth, that we're steering things, and that, then like, I spent the whole afternoon going back through council meetings over the last year and listening to comments. And one particular thing jumped out at me. Jeff Free, he was talking about when the term limits petition came around the first time, he was talking about, I, for one, appreciate what all of these guys have done over the years. And while it's I find it he was saying to the effect that he found it disrespectful to even want to affect term limits, and that people take the opinion that things are not going good, and that Jeff Free, on the other hand, thinks that everything is great and they've done a great job. Well, I want to share with y'all a couple of points, and I want to ask what you think. If you lived in Shady Grove, or for that matter, if you lived in, you know, Birdwell out there off of Swan Lake Road in those subdivisions, and you've got crossovers, meaning it's a little metal, like a speed bump in the road that's got a
Right.
pipe that goes under the road because of water out there, for example, for over 2 years, Rex, they've had a pump, a big, huge pump with a diesel driven engine that sits out there running, pumping sewer for 24 hours a day. And for you to get to your house every day, the people that live out in those neighborhoods have to drive over that speed bump to get to their houses. And for over 2 years, because they need a new lift station, as I appreciate it. So for over 2 years, now this pump that's out there, you know how much it costs the city? I know from oil field that those generally rent from $250 to $450 a day. I understand that it's costing the city about $300 a day to rent this pump that's been going on for over 2 years. Now, because they need a new lift station out there. Now, can you tell me the lift station that's up there on the Walter O. Bigby carriageway that doesn't help any of the citizens really, except for to enable an overpass, to be built? Do you think those people out there in Swan Lake or even in Shady Grove, do you think they might could have saw some benefit from having that lift station built in their neighborhood to
What?
relieve them there? And
But
if that's the measure of success of your Bossier City councilman that Jeff Free articulates and all of them, I mean, do y'all? I'm wondering,
uh,
should
Duke, you said earlier that you thought your memory was slipping a little bit today because of information overload, and I think it's correct. You have forgotten what is far more important than overspending on a rental pump instead of fixing or building or whatever the lift station. You have forgotten what is far more important than that. It's the tower of tax dollars.
well, that's right. I mean, but
They got to
you know,
build monuments to themselves first. Get your priorities straight, Duke.
but to the 170 people, hopefully y'all are all citizens of Bossier that are watching, and if you're asking why do we, and if you have a little bit of a doubt as to our motives or to why we're making a big deal about these things, to me, the people living out there in Shady Grove, or the people living in Swan Lake neighborhood that have had to, for the last several years, endure these pumps running 24 hours a day, I shouldn't say wasting tax, but pumping sewer in your front yards to where you're having to navigate it like speed bumps on your road. I mean, and you don't think there's a problem in Bossier City government? I mean, and you're going to allow your elected officials to sit here and tell you that everything is all good, we're doing a great job, and us building, prioritizing, uh, you know, statues and overpasses and roads, and not taking care of the basic infrastructure things. I mean, I'm sorry, I have to disagree with that.
They don't shop around for anything, even lift stations and pumps. How short your memory is, Mr. Lowry.
I mean, and let's not leave it. Let's not leave this to chance here. And Juliana's defending all of the actions. She makes no bones about piss on everybody in Shady Grove, piss on everybody in Swan Lake, and y'all in your lift stations. She's defending the old guard and the decisions that they made. That there's no fault in their decision making. She's 100% sold on their making the right decision. Let's talk about Red Rover. How much money is Red Rover going to cost? You know, Nichols Oil Lube. Nichols Oil Lube. How many millions of dollars? Because we had to have that overpass. What about UL Coleman? How much money was pissed away on UL Coleman?
Some people say
And
what, 30 million? I don't know. I don't know what the actual number is. You can't get it.
anyway,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I apologize, Squirrel, but I had to get that out there as to y'all why this is all important.
Yeah.
To ma-
It's not just about term limits. It's not just about a charter commission. It's what could potentially be fixed or addressed with the charter commission if their reasoning was sound in what they're doing, or let's put it this way, about half of them if their reasoning was sound. The other half, I think they're there for valid reasons.
And we're not even close. We haven't even scratched the surface of how all of this is going to affect you coming forward. You all better tighten up your checkbooks because you're all fixing to get hit. You're all fixing to get hit hard. And it may not just be, in fact, we're going to show you some video here in a little bit. Your safety is at risk. This fine job that has been done in Bossier City has endangered everybody in the whole city. So back to the video and back on point. I'm sorry, Squirrel. Here we go.
Hey, it's our show. We can do what we want. We appreciate everybody watching.
All right. So you made your appearance to the podium. Let's see what you had to say.
And move on.
Thank you, Ms. Parks.
Rex Moncrief, 2208 Hickory Ridge, actually in
Are you
Bossier
also
City.
not a member of?
Wait a minute. We're at chipmunk speed.
Wait a minute, too. And I think I missed a part.
I think that's when I first walked up there. All right, here we go. All right, we'll back it up a second. Hold on. Let me back it up. Squirrel moment, folks. Yeah. All right, here we go.
Okay, wait a minute. No.
Yeah, because you went up there first, so we need to see you first.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So here we go. I got it.
Okay. Sorry, Cassie. Ding, ding.
I was waiting for the ringing to stop, and I was going to acknowledge your ruling, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, how do we keep getting to 1.25 speed? I'm going to hit play. Hold on. All right.
Any other public comment?
We need to save the chipmunk for the right time. Oh, I recognize that guy.
Bossier City, 1017 Benton Road, and
I would like each person who speaks to make a note of whether they actually live in Bossier City before they speak, just to, you know.
no, I don't live in Bossier City. I was born
thank
here and
you.
have lived here all my life.
Thank you.
In and about.
Mr. Lowry, do you have a business here in Bossier City?
I do, absolutely.
Okay, so I think, although you do not live in Bossier City, you operate a business here. I'm glad to hear
Do
you
you
talk.
get to vote for a city council member based on owning a business here?
No, absolutely not. But I did retire from the Bossier City Fire
And isn't
Department and
it
gave
true
20 years of my life
that
to this
your
city, and I
entire
care
purpose
dearly
of
about
being
it.
here is
Mr.
to
Chairman, I'm
remove
here
the
to
right
speak.
from the voters
And
to
do I
vote
get
on
to
who they
speak
want?
to the
Ms.
subject
Parks,
matter, or do I get
please
interrogated?
allow the citizen here to speak. Mr. Lowry.
I'd like to reclaim my time, and I would additionally like somebody from the audience to time rather than Ms. Moorhart, as I don't trust her clock. So with that being said, the story that Mr. Marriott was speaking to, B.W. Agreement in that case in the past, I think it's pertinent to this commission. You know, I remember a time when it was a joke in Bossier City for firemen and policemen, five off without pay. It was a laughing joke. I remember a letter being drafted, sent to this council and to this mayor. In fact, you know, that councilman sitting right over there will remember it. It was a letter requesting to speak to the council regarding a matter of public concern. And that matter was the fact that the city of Bossier was conducting training that was not in compliance with state or national standards, in violation of the law, endangering the citizens of this city. And yet this council didn't want to hear it. And ultimately, they tried to silence who was the person that was trying to bring this to light. Wow. Was that 3 minutes
That's
already?
not you.
Tried to silence, bringing that forward. And, Mr. Greeman was one of a long list of people that were targets. So the cost that a lot of people gave to this city, I think you have no concept of what they paid and what they gave to this city. So with that being said, one, Mr. Chairman, I'm curious that the last meeting that took place, did you call that meeting? And did you call this meeting?
No, sir, I did not call either.
You are the chairman, and I think it's your responsibility, according to Robert's Rules of Order, by best I can tell, is that that's your responsibility is to call the meetings. And then as well, I noticed that this last meeting or non-meeting, there was the setting of this meeting, and which I don't think that that business was conducted appropriately. And I think this meeting is out of order already before you even started. I don't think it was appropriately called. So I would caution you on moving forward, and I think that, your last speaker was giving you a warning on the business that you're about to conduct, that you're probably going to find yourself in a lawsuit. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Lowry.
Okay.
Well stated.
It's weird. I do this social media show with you called Bossier Watch, and is it weird to not want to hear yourself speak? I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just not vain enough. I don't like hearing myself speak.
Most people don't like to hear themselves or see themselves in front of a camera.
Now, to their credit, both Juliana and Miss Morehart go after me to say, and I think even Richard Ray jumped in there to chime in to say that according to Robert's rules, Shane is not automatically the chairman, but
All right, so let me cut you off for just a second. I want to clarify that because I've gone inside and out through Robert's Rules. Again, we posted the ebook version of Robert's Rules. You can download it. It's 1,000 pages, but it's big text. It's easy to search through because it's a true ebook /PDF. So it makes it much easier. And you can just search for resignations and you can see what it says. There's nothing in Robert's Rules that says that the chairman or vice chairman ascends to be the chairman only after they accept the resignations. That's not in there at all. He's twisting it around and he knows that.
Well, obviously there was no dispute in that it was going to be Shane's role to ascend to be the chairman and conduct the meeting because, Richard Ray even gestured to him. Go ahead at the beginning of this meeting.
Well,
understood.
Look, Richard has been confused over whether he's the acting or was the acting city attorney, whether he's even attorney at all. Is he there just as a citizen? He's confused about his own role, much less being able to advise folks on their roles in the commission. So, I got to cut him a little slack, snarkily. All right.
Yep. So after I got up there and Juliana tried to get a piece of me, you came up to jump in there and let her have a piece of you too.
Yeah, ding ding, no parking lot included this time.
And move on.
Thank you, Ms. Parks.
Rex Moncrief, 2208 Hickory Ridge, actually in
Are
Bossier
you also
City.
not a member a resident of Bossier City? Because I feel like all of these
Actually,
people
I
who
am a
don't
resident
live in
of
the
Bossier
city
City
are
for
trying to
your information.
Point of
hijack
order.
our city.
As you, Mr. Chairman, and the rest of this body. and
Mr.
the
Chairman, if
two
you're going to allow
attorneys
people in
sitting
the
here
audience
can-
to holler questions at me, I should be able to answer them.
I said point of order, and I did not address why I was calling point of order.
Okay, thank you.
Think she was triggered?
May we start my time again?
We'll start you over after this, but please, again, in the audience, if you want to talk, feel free to come up here and talk, but we're not going to allow the shouting and back and forth, as well as I also prefer that we don't immediately.
Do you think she
attack
believes in
any
free
of the
speech,
speakers
folks?
that are coming up to talk. If you raise your hand, I'll call on you after.
I think she does. I think she agrees in the type speech that's free in Venezuela. Her and Maduro.
Her free speech, but nobody else's.
I'm confident that they're on the same page, but
Yeah.
just saying, it's just my opinion.
Yeah, she can interrupt all she wants.
So do you actually live in Bossier City?
I actually do. As a matter of fact, the city limits are 400 yards down the road, and they stop, and it goes into the parish. Then about another 400 yards is where Carriage Oaks Crossing is kind of gerrymandered into the city. So yeah, technically I live in the city City of Bossier City.
Well,
Uh,
I mean, maybe she's trying to get you expelled from the city under her domain.
I think she was trying that tactic because somebody had ill-advised her and she's a dumbass. Let's put it that way. I'll just be blunt about it.
Oh, well, there's that.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's let you continue, by the way.
Okay.
Speaker that has already came up, if you don't
I
mind.
believe it's pretty standard to ask where someone lives when they stand up to speak. I
He
think
was
that's done in
explaining
most
that
meetings.
Would you like
us.
for me to
I
address
was
that during
speaking
my
to the
spill?
audience
Because I'll
member.
gladly give you a legal lesson right here and now, if you would like. It's real simple. So open meetings laws in the state of Louisiana do not prohibit or preclude anybody from speaking publicly at them. You're supposed to give your name and address just for the record only. So somebody from Pennsylvania could come
It is
speak at this
relevant
meeting
to the
if they want
relevance
to.
of your comments.
And, Mr. Chairman, I'll ignore the chatter over there. Let me also state for the record, my address is 2208 Hickory Ridge in Bossier City, Louisiana. Any questions?
I didn't think so.
All right, now, let's get started. So, this is real simple, and somebody was just speaking about the bylaws and whether you should have started the meeting. So I'll refer you to Robert's Rules of Order 5632. If the bylaws are silent as to the method of filling a vacancy in the specific case of the presidency, the vice president or first vice president automatically becomes president. That would also refer to the chair. So in the case of this body, well, guess what? The vice chairman automatically becomes the chairman. The vice chairman approves the agenda by Robert's Rules of Order. You can go read them. Supposedly, we have experts in here on Robert's Rules. So I'm not really sure if I should be addressing you as the chairman or Vicki Whitman as the chairman, or who's trying to pretend to be the chairman. But you haven't actually approved an agenda. You haven't approved a meeting as the vice chairman elevated to chairman once Preston Friedley resigned. So again, I'll reemphasize what the last speaker said. Is this really a meeting, or should we just show up with popcorn and drinks and watch the circus, which is apparently what we're doing? Any questions?
I got a question. Which one's Bozo? I need to know who's Bozo up there.
Don't make me answer that.
I have my suspicion, but I got to know if I'm going to watch a clown show. I want to know who's Bozo.
Tell me who your suspicion is.
Well,
Let's let the audience vote. Who would be Bozo the clown in this situation? Everybody vote and let's see what everybody thinks. Let us know in the comments.
Anyway, so you gave your legal education, I think.
Look, you got 3 attorneys sitting there in the room. Did you hear any of them argue with me?
Well, no, she didn't argue no more after that. And look, I got to give credit to Richard Ray and Jacobs. I mean, they took some shots, but I think they sat there and they held their own. They didn't allow themselves to be roped into the personal thing. Only one attorney there allowed themselves to make things personal and to get down in the gutter. And she's on the commission.
I don't know. Where did she get her law degree from? She must have graduated from the Facebook School of Law just like I did.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to jump us up to and I'm skipping things here. Guys, y'all don't realize how much is here. I mean, I wish we had the time to just play this. Y'all don't have 3 hours. There's no way you're going to hang here for 3 hours. But there is so much content here. If you had time, you should watch this thing in totality.
Yeah, or break it up in segments. Go to YouTube, and you can play it for a while. You can play it in the background because you don't necessarily need the video. Play it in the background while you're doing other stuff. But I'm telling you, I agree with you, Duke. It's worth watching some of this. This is absolute insanity.
So we're going to jump forward to, I noted it as more clown music incoming. So here we go. More clown music for you guys.
Okay.
That this body, and I'll finish this up shortly. This will take less
Here
than
we
30
go.
seconds.
Ding, ding.
This body does not grant a single person in the room the right to speak.
Ding.
That is a reserved power to the people, subject to the reasonable rules of this body. This body has not passed a reasonable rule that prohibits me from speaking twice. This body has not passed a reasonable rule that prohibits me from speaking about the same issue more than once. You may cite Robert's rules, but when Robert's rules is in conflict with the state law, the Louisiana Constitution, or the United States Constitution, Robert's rule is...
Mr. Merritt, we get the point. You can turn the ringer off. He's wrapping up. We all heard it. Thank you, Mr. Merritt.
I hate to laugh.
When Robert's rules come, this is the...
But it's like,
I mean,
it's, trust me, it's much more funny when you were actually sitting there for that. But I'm sorry, folks. Ding, ding, ding.
okay. Y'all think the clown music was good? Just wait. I mean, here we go. The shots are fixing to start coming, and they're fixing to roll in like a tidal wave. And if y'all had taken the advice or heeded the advice that Rex normally gives at the beginning of the show to have a stiff drink ready, now's the time to have that stiff drink, because, and you better be sitting down because we're fixing to kick this into drive. Here we go.
Last sentence. When Robert's rules conflicts with state law, with the Louisiana Constitution, and with the United States Constitution, especially the 10th Amendment and the First Amendment, it should and is rightly ignored. Thank you.
Call for questions.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Johnson.
just a quick question. The last meeting that Mr. Jeter and I were at was, well, it wasn't a meeting, it was a fiasco. We had some pretty crazy things go on. What I would like to know, because I don't know the answer in this, Mr. Ray, if you could help us with this as well. I just want to ask the question to my chairman, and then if you can follow up with it, that'd be appreciated. We're sitting here again, and we don't know who's replacing these two members. We haven't voted on it. We haven't discussed it. We have no idea who we want to appoint. I think that we need to adjourn probably, and like I said before, have a workshop, discuss this. I know we have to have the people involved in this, but just so we stop this back and forth, we simply, I hope it's simple, that we appoint two people that we're missing, and we try to finish this. We put some blood, sweat, and tears in this, and I would like to give the citizens something that's worthy of them and worthy of this charter. So I would like to, before we keep chasing rainbows and arguing with each other like children, I would like to just see what we need to do to nominate two people and move this thing forward and give it to the people as soon as we can. But don't we need to, does it make sense, Mr. Ray, if we nominate our two people we're missing, or maybe just disband the charter and start, I don't know, but we can't continue if we don't have them.
I think all those are appropriate discussions to have when you get to
Oh,
that
notice appropriate
agenda item.
disbanding the
We still
charter.
haven't voted on the approval of this agenda. But I do think that's a discussion to have on that item, which is
Nor
item
have
number
we-
2 under new business.
Thank you.
But we're not there yet.
We haven't accepted the resignation, so
Correct.
we
Right.
can't nominate anybody.
Well, how can we move forward?
I want to pause it for just a second. Correct me if I'm wrong, Duke, because I've been watching the comments, but they're still on item number 1, which is approving the damn agenda, right?
Oh yeah, we're still at approving the agenda.
We're at 46 minutes into that meeting. Okay, here I'm gonna hit play again. You can pause whenever you're ready.
Meetings if we haven't. I just feel like, that's just opening us up for, and I'm asking you because I don't have an idea.
Well, I think
it's
I
just
think that's a
crazy.
discussion to have when you get to that item, but right now it's on the approval of the agenda. You have a motion and a second.
Thank you, Mr.
My
Mayor.
question is, how do we approve it without?
Any comments? Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any other comments from the commissioners?
Mr. Chair, I would like to call for questions on the agenda.
All right, here we go, folks. Put your
I have
seatbelt
some
on.
comments to make, but
Yeah,
if there's not a
this is the good part.
second above that, I have.
Soap opera time.
Well, let's just procedurally, before we get too far afield, if you're making a motion to call the question, you would need a second, and that would end the debate, but I believe that takes.
Well, since there
that's
hasn't been a
2/3
second, I would
vote.
like to
Right.
make a comment.
Sure. I'm just trying to make sure we know where we are procedurally, keep it clean.
This charter commission has put in a lot of hours and a lot of time. In the beginning of this, I explained to this charter commission that this charter commission was put together for one reason and one reason only, and I still believe that, and I'll probably die believing that it was put together for term limits. I tried to make a motion, got a second, it failed 3-4. And the conversation then was, we don't want to be in a hurry, we want to take our time, but now we're in a hurry. You were going to have a meeting. The only reason I'm here today is you were going to have a meeting, an illegal meeting, with only 4 people if I wasn't here.
If we were gonna do
And
that,
I
we would've
decided,
done it last
excuse
week.
me, it is my time.
I'm just pointing out that
I'm
that's
just saying
incorrect.
it's my time.
And I'm just saying that that's wrong.
He's
and it's
like a
not
child.
I tell you what we're gonna do. Tell you what we're gonna do. Tell you what I'm gonna do.
You have made a mockery out of this
Tell you what I'm
commission
gonna
after
do.
all of
I'm
our
going
hard
to-
work.
Can we have order, please?
I'm
One
going
person
to-
at a time, please.
I am going to.
I apologize, ladies and gentlemen.
I am going to excuse myself from this meeting, and I'm gonna recommend that everyone.
I'm sorry, I got to stop Shane speaking there. There's a common denominator here to her, I seen somebody use the word petulant actions. It's she wants to silence any speech that she disagrees with. It's that simple. She
That's it.
right or wrong, it's whether or not she agrees or disagrees with it. She doesn't want to hear any speech that she does not agree with.
I
She
got to
wants to
disagree
silence
with you.
everybody.
I got to disagree with you slightly. And folks, Duke and I disagree on some things, most of the things we agree on, but I got to disagree with you a little bit there. I mean, you're partially correct, but it's narcissism. She's got to be the center of attention. And look, I can say this honestly. Part of the reason I don't go to a lot of the meetings and speak is because I'll get up to the podium and suck most of the oxygen out of the room. I mean, she was the only one that was trying to prod me, but did you hear any of the rest of them debate what I was saying? Now, I know she suffers from severe narcissism because I have to keep mine in check. I don't walk into a meeting or into a group of people and like to be the center of attention, but when I get up and speak, I speak with authority and don't think anybody should argue with me. She doesn't have that ability to speak very well, but she wants to be the center of attention. And to do that, she wants to limit the speech of everybody else when you're calling her out or proving her wrong or whatever the scenario may be. She can't ever be wrong. And that's the problem. She's wrong most of the time.
Yep. We'll just go with that.
Okay.
There's
There's your sound bites, Juliana.
I was going to say something about the other politicians, especially the ones that she is carrying the water for, and those that are carrying the water for her, because a lot of them, they all are just, hey, she's doing a great job. She is a number one. They're not as bold as her to jump out there and say that they would just assume silence all of you and not have any voice whatsoever. They're not as bold as her to say the obvious. But anyway, let's go back and let's finish playing this.
You have made a mockery out of this
Tell you what I'm
commission
gonna
after
do.
all of
I'm
our
going
hard
to-
work.
Can we have order, please?
I'm
One
going
person
to-
at a time, please.
I
apologize, ladies and gentlemen.
I am going to excuse myself from this meeting, and I'm going to recommend that everyone else do that. There are currently ethics complaints on numerous members of this body.
Oop.
Any business that we take moving forward right now is not good for the future of Bossier City.
Shane,
Drop
will you
the
please give
bomb.
me 30 seconds?
I would love for y'all to let me finish talking. Then you can have as much time as you want.
Thank you, sir.
Because I'm not going to be here when I'm finished talking.
Please.
I gotta agree with him. I mean,
No, it's like he couldn't get in. He couldn't say anything.
won't even let him speak. Not even David.
And look, except for Shane doing his role as chairman, vice chairman, whatever, has he, up to this point, did he try to really cut anybody else off other than the role that he was tasked with?
I mean, he's being accused of making a mockery, yet he's the only one that's being interrupted by people that it's not their turn to speak.
Yeah, love you, David, and we're not saying that you really meant to cut him off, David. We know what you were trying to do, but it's just the point that he's getting hammered from all sides.
Yeah, so let's let it rock on.
Y'all can make a decision on what you're going to do. Here's what I'm saying. All of a sudden, everybody wants to get through tonight, calling for the question, moving forward, doesn't want to hear from the public. I'm about tired of hearing elected officials in this city and their cronies and appointees not want to hear from the people of Bossier City.
Preach it, brother.
I would sit here until 4 o'clock in the morning if every one of these people wanted to talk for 3 minutes, 10 minutes. But at a meeting I was not at, y'all made a rule,
Even
and
though
I'm
it
trying
has
to move
nothing to
forward
do
from
with
that.
what's before this board.
But here's what I'm telling this commission right now.
This is ridiculous.
Any votes or decisions that
Bitch,
you
you
make
can't
today
stand
to
it.
replace someone, to move forward, will be challenged in court. So why rush through to do that? And it also has the appearance of you don't want to hear what the people of Bossier City have to say or their input. We had town halls, which people attended. We have a meeting here where people attended. But it appears that we want to rush through. And how dare you tell me I'm making a mockery of this commission? Let me tell you something. You decided not to show up to a meeting after y'all lost the
I
vote
was
4 to
sick,
3.
and I can bring you a doctor note just
So-
like I've offered.
Doctor
to you.
note.
Y'all lost a vote 4 to 3, and you decided not to attend the meeting.
You were texting during the meeting without
so-
notice and without
Wait.
the public to be.
Okay.
Is that the one for the chipmunk time?
Okay, wait a minute. I'm on it. I'm on it.
Folks, y'all have to indulge us for just a minute here because this is so great to listen at chipmunk speed. So just indulge us for a minute here. We're absolutely making fun of Juliana, the little princess.
I mean, you got to understand a lot of times before these shows, I mean, we're scrubbing through these videos and to get through them, I mean, you got to think about like this is a 3-hour meeting and we couldn't even get through it. But I went through every council meeting today from noon to this afternoon. I went through every city council meeting that's happened since June of last year, all between noon and before the show. And the only way we can do that is we play these things at 2.5, 3 times speed. And, and we're listening for specific things. So today I was playing through this and I had it jacked up to like 2.5 times speed. And you just got to hear for yourself. Listen close to the princess's own words.
All right, you got the
ready,
speed
Rick?
turn. You got the speed turned up.
I do. It's ready.
Okay, here we go.
And how dare you tell me I'm making a mockery of this commission? Let me tell you something. You decided not to show up to a meeting after y'all lost
I
a
was
vote 4
sick,
to
and I
3.
can bring you a doctor note
So,
just like I've offered to you.
y'all lost a vote 4 to 3, and you decided not to attend the meeting.
Okay.
You were texting during the meeting without notice and without the public to be able to see.
Wait a minute. Let me jack it down a little bit. That might have been a little bit much. Let's try it again.
Okay, here we go. Chipmunk time.
Mockery of this commission? Let me tell you something. You decided not to show up to a meeting after y'all lost
I
a vote
was
4 to
sick,
3.
and I can bring you a doctor note just
So,
like I've offered to you.
y'all lost a vote 4.
Sick.
I just wanna know
Give a
why-
doctor note.
I was sick. And
What are we in grade school? I mean, come on. I bet you were sick, Juliana. Sick of damn term limits. I'm sick of people being able to talk and speak and comment. I bet you were sick. Sorry, folks. But like Duke said, sometimes when you're zipping through all this, and Duke did the majority of it today, you're zipping through this and your eyes are literally crossing, listen to all this, and sometimes you just hit something that's funny. That's good, Duke. Good stuff.
All right. Let's let her keep on rocking on.
To 3, and you decided not to attend the meeting.
You were texting during the meeting without notice and without the public to be able to see what you were talking about with 4 people, which is a violation of open meetings law. So don't you educate me.
I text after a meeting, by the way.
No, it was during the meeting.
Oh, it
there were
was after the
timestamps.
meeting.
Let's call for a vote. We have a majority.
Miss Parks, I'm gonna just tell you this, I challenge everybody sitting up here. I am going to make a motion that we end this meeting that really hasn't even started, but it's been a bunch of this and that back and forth. And I would like to hear a second.
Mr. Acting Chairman, I have a call for questions on the floor, and it should be voted on.
Well,
Call for the question during the comment period of the public.
Can I have my 30 seconds?
Yes, sir.
We.
That's
If
when
we've
the
been
marshal
this
came
long,
over.
We've got a young man here and hopefully a future bright light cared enough in here to come in here at his time. I would like to give him his time, and then we will vote on that. I think we should give this young man a chance to speak.
Jeter's like,
Ms. Whitman?
what the hell?
Shane, when we got through with the vote the other night, you and I sat over the parking lot, I thought we had a great conversation. I like you, Shane. And so the reason that I was not here Monday morning had absolutely nothing, zero, my hand to God, to do because of a lost vote. I left here that night. I went camping with my grandkids. I don't go to sleep dreaming about term limits, and I don't eat term limits. I have a life. When I left here with
Camping.
you, we had a good conversation out in the
Camping.
parking lot. I thought we were done. Thought, it's
Maybe
done.
so, whatever.
We were
Maybe she
done
was
with
getting the free camping spots, cashing in on those. I didn't say
I'm
that.
just, hey Rex, do you have a key fob out to the park? I'm just
No, I
wondering.
don't.
I hear people have key fobs and unlimited access to, parts of parks around. I don't know. I'm just curious. I hear stories about envelopes full of boat stickers making their way to Bossier City and things like that.
Well, they wouldn't send that to me because I ain't putting those damn ugly ass stickers on my boat anymore. I'm done with that.
Oh,
But
I know,
I
but
digress.
anyway, I don't know why that just popped in my head, but anyway, let's
Remember,
keep
yeah,
going.
I remember a show topic about it, but here we go.
I thought we were done. Okay. So I'm telling you why I was not here Monday morning, because I wanted on record why I was not here. I had not checked my emails. I had not checked my text messages. I had 2 calls that had anything remotely connected to that vote. One was from KSLA, wanted how I felt about term limits, and I told them, and that was the end. Mr. Jeter's mother, who I love dearly, called me to check on my health. Outside of that, nothing. Text messages, emails, private conversations, nothing related to this. I thought we were done. Saturday, my husband and I took the day, and we're going to drive to the winery and have lunch, and my phone rings, and it's like, did you get a Freedom of Information Act on your phone? And do you know about these? How you feel about
Yeah,
this?
she's blah, 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 blah,
Talking
people.
about. So I had to go and look.
It's kind of like the
So,
Charlie Brown
my Freedom
teacher.
of Information
Wah,
Act's
wah,
placed
wah.
on phones, the no votes. So I fully expected to get a Freedom of Information Act put on my phone. I fully expected it, which is okay. There's nothing there. But I still wanted an attorney. And I turned on the radio Monday morning, and there's Preston Friedley. Nobody appointed him to go and speak for our voices. And I'm thinking,
Wait a
what?
minute.
This
Whoa,
is
whoa,
not
whoa,
a
stop the
day to go to an
press.
attorney. I'm going to see
What did she just say? Now, refresh my memory, Duke. I think it was January the 16th. These people, including her, voted to make Preston Friedley the chairman. Am I missing something here?
They all did, yes.
Okay. All right. Just making sure I wasn't completely crazy. And I want to point out it's not Freedom of Information Act, a FOIA. That's federal. It's a public information request. It's a little side note. It's FOIA is federal.
Okay, well, we're getting some more good part, and then we're going to show a little bit more, because here's the thing. I mean, we haven't even broke the 1 hour mark. There's 2.5 more hours of this, and there are countless clips that. So we're just going to have to end up giving everybody just a summation and close this thing out, because there's no way to cover it all. You guys are just going to have to go watch it all.
Yeah.
But let's play a little bit more before we do a summation.
I should go. That's why I was here. It had nothing, absolutely zero to do with the lost vote. So please don't put me in there that I was bad or that's why I was not here. That's the God's truth. That's why I was not here. I thought we were through with this vote.
She keeps invoking God.
I know of no plot. I don't even know what we're doing now. I thought we were coming here and we were going to finish.
The only people plotting are y'all.
There was no plot.
Mr. Ray,
I thought we were done with it.
the accusations and this bantering back and forth is getting us nowhere. I think we need to adjourn, figure out what we need to do to appoint two people and nominate them, come in here as a committee and represent the citizens like we should be doing.
You have a motion and a second on the agenda. That's the only motion that's in proper form.
Chambers, you give us a motion to adjourn?
We have to do the first motion first.
Miss Willite just sitting there twiddling her glasses. I mean,
she's like, I'm checked out of this thing.
Now that he's gone, I would like to say that Mr. Cheatham has approached me in the parking lot and told me himself that he only wanted this because he's mad at David Montgomery. And so for him to stand
Even
up here
Richard
and say
Ray.
that we're conniving, that is not a lie.
Call to order, please.
And I don't think that is the basis to make decisions for the city. So it's pretty interesting
Good
that
for
you tell
David
me
for
that I
walking
didn't
out.
show up.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. Even Richard Ray about rolled his eyes. I mean, do you see Richard Ray like, oh my gosh, why did she just say that? Why did she just say that?
Yeah.
And that's the conversation that, you know, somebody said they thought that you were a party to which you said that's not true. That's not what was said.
No, everything that was said was between me and the little princess. Trust me, and she did not walk away a happy camper. There are witnesses to that fact. And again, I tried. She came up to me. I tried to avoid the situation. All right.
So I think summarizing what took place at this meeting, it was nothing but endless accusations, and the princess, you know, was accusing people of this, accusing people of that, and you know, there were pointed questions, meaning that, for example, I asked a question pertaining to who conveyed to Preston Friedley that the four ladies on this commission were no longer going to attend any meetings so long as Preston Friedley was the chairman. And to which no, there was no answer. Nobody had an answer. And, you know, ultimately, I wish I could find it real quick. The princess even ultimately said on a question regarding, you know, meetings being posted or the lack thereof, and minutes being posted and the lack thereof, and to Richard Ray's credit, Richard Ray, you know, Ryan Haygood made the point that there's some of these meetings were not posted, and Richard Ray declared that that's false, what he said, not true or whatever. And then Richard Ray
He
had to
said
retract that.
factually not correct, you know, his famous words that he likes to use. Now, go ahead and then I'll give the inside baseball on that.
Yeah, well, he declared that his statements were factually incorrect until it was then shown and proven that his statements were correct, to which Richard Ray had to acknowledge that there was a problem that you can elaborate on a little bit more in depth.
Yeah, so here's the scenario, and it's at about the 1 hour and 4 minute mark. It's kind of an interesting exchange. So Ryan Haygood got up and he spoke about and mentioned some missing meetings that were online. I think there were 3 YouTube videos that were unexplainably missing from the YouTube channel. And I knew for sure that they were missing. And we had a copy of one of those meetings. It was the February the 5th meeting. It was not online an hour before this meeting because I personally checked. And so when Haygood got up there and mentioned that, I got up there and corrected the record. Well, Richard Ray called me for a sidebar. And so you can see at some point here along here, I'll walk over there. I don't really forget what the timestamp is. And Richard and I go into a sidebar while the other young man was speaking, and he pulled up on his phone. He said, "Oh, look, the February the 5th meeting is here." He showed it to me on his phone. And I told him, I said, Richard, I'm telling you, that meeting was not there an hour ago. I looked myself. I know how to find those videos, and I'm an IT guy. All right. Because he even tried to argue the point when I was at the podium that the February the 5th meeting wasn't broadcast. I said, no, it absolutely was, because I downloaded it from YouTube. That's how we did one of these episodes on that meeting. Anyway, so as it turns out, I go sit back down, and a few minutes later, Richard's flagging me over there again. So I go over for another sidebar with Richard Ray. Oh, guess what, Mr. Lowry and everybody watching? The episodes were missing. To his credit, Richard Ray showed me the text message from the IT guys who were upstairs that they had set the meetings to private. Therefore, we couldn't see them. And so I got up later on and made the point that it wasn't like they accidentally hiccuped and set them to private. You have to sign into the YouTube channel, go to those meetings, click on the meeting to edit it, set it to private, and then save those changes. Why the hell would they do that? Why? Maybe they accidentally slipped and did it. I don't know. But
Well,
that's the point.
either way, Haygood was not incorrect. He was absolutely correct.
Yes.
And there were multiple, there was another dispute on agenda or on minutes, in the minutes, whether the minutes were posted or whether the minutes were not posted. And Juliana ultimately made this claim that, and it was in regards to open meeting laws, as I recall, and she said, we're not responsible. To which I replied something to the effect, no, whether all of you members of the commission believe you are or not, I don't even know what I said, but I'm thinking it right now. Whether you think you are bound by open meeting laws or whether you believe you're responsible or not responsible for complying with the open meeting laws, I'm here to tell you that you are. You are. I think she really doesn't think that she's bound by open meeting laws. I think she thinks she can make the laws as she goes and just do whatever the hell she wants to do. I think she really believes that.
I can't disagree with you at all. I think she thinks the rules don't necessarily apply to her.
So I want to make one more point, and I posed another question that and I don't remember, we'd have to go back and find it. We didn't have time, but this dialogue, and I posed the question to Miss Whitman to say, Miss Whitman, do you realize that, you could have been a part of a walking quorum unknowingly, you could have been a part of it and you didn't even know it. Do you realize that? To which she replied, I'm not walking anywhere. And now I don't know whether
she meant it literally or what.
Yeah, I don't know. But the point being, I go back to who communicated to Preston Friedley that these four ladies were no longer going to attend a meeting anymore so long as he was a part of the commission or he was the chairman. Somebody communicated that. And, Juliana, while she believes that 4 people equals a quorum, the communication to the 5th member being Preston Friedley, you know what? That was a quorum. That was a walking quorum. However it was facilitated, that was a walking quorum. And I'm pretty sure that it entailed more than 5 people. I think that it went further than that. And when I asked the question to all of these up here, they all look like deer in the headlights, that they ain't talked to nobody, that they don't know nothing. They're all deaf, dumb, and stupid. And I know that's true. I mean, I know that's to try to tell the public that you've got no that was not I mean, boy, I would love to see I would love to see this all shake out.
Yeah. Hey, I found part of this exchange with me and Richard, I think. Let me play this.
But again, we're liars.
Oh yeah, we're always the liars. And
we're always the liars.
And Haygood, I'll answer your question here in just a second.
And at any rate,
Just to
Us
interject for a
commission members-
second, the February 5th video is absolutely not online. I have a copy of it stored locally. I actually downloaded it from YouTube, so you can go check that right now. So what you just said is factually
Well,
false.
we didn't stream that one, Mr. Moncrief.
Yes, you did. I downloaded it from YouTube. Yes, you did.
February 5th?
Yeah, yes, I believe it was. Because the first one y'all didn't stream.
That's correct.
That's correct, because we recorded it. The second one, the February 5th, you did stream. I pulled a copy from YouTube, which is how I have it. The other two that he referenced, I don't know.
Well, if that's correct, that's an error. That's not anything that anyone has
Yeah,
tried to.
3
do.
of
I'll
them,
look into it,
folks.
make sure
Right,
it's
but
up.
we're
To clarify, the
So just so y'all know,
posted to
and you can see me right there walking over on the right-hand side to the sidebar. I want to give Richard Ray a little bit of credit here. He didn't have to show me that text message from the IT department. He didn't. He could have kept that amongst himself until we did a public records request and all those shenanigans. But he did fess up to it, but I think he knew the jig was up at that point because I told him, I said, well, Richard, there's 2 ways this is going to play out. Either you're going to correct the record or I'm going to correct the record. He's, oh, no, I'll do it. I'll do it. Okay. So I want to give him credit. He did show me that text message.
Yeah, and he did acknowledge it, and he did correct it. So that's what should have happened. That's exactly what should have happened.
Yeah, I can't complain about that. I mean, we made fun of Richard Ray, and we don't agree with a lot of things that he's done and said. But in that case, I think he was trying to cover his bases.
So a lot of people, let's segue off this video and let's wrap this up for people because a lot of people have questions about where we go from here. And we promised everybody that we would try to conclude this. So they ended up, closing this meeting out. So I can't, and they decided upon calling another meeting, I think August the 12th. They set a
12th.
date for another meeting, August the 12th.
That's correct.
But what you need to know is today the city council met, to which, there were, Maggio was absent, Darby was absent, Montgomery was absent, but they still had a quorum. And a additional item was added to the agenda to dissolve the charter commission, to which now we don't have the video. You and I both sat and watched the council meeting today.
Yeah,
And
I sat there at the council meeting and spoke.
And I was watching it online, and somehow or another, I slept through it. I don't know how, but I did not see the vote. But apparently the vote took place to where they voted to dissolve the charter commission.
Yeah, apparently I was sitting there maybe talking to somebody. I didn't see that vote. I did see the vote at the beginning of the meeting, which is where they voted to add it to the agenda to abolish the charter commission. And then apparently I must have had my attention turned when they voted to actually abolish it. And supposedly, I didn't see the record, and I hadn't seen the video because it's not on YouTube yet. But apparently they voted unanimously with the 4 members present to abolish the charter commission. So y'all are kind of hearing that first if you hadn't already, or if you weren't watching it live. Now, let me say this too, because the IT department was aware that the stream went down. They do have the video. I think that they are stitching the segments of the video where they had to stop the stream and try to restart it and all that. I think they're stitching those videos together, and then they're going to post the entire city council meeting today, this afternoon, online. I haven't talked to them, but I think that's what they're doing. And to Brian Hammond's credit, he got a text message and immediately asked about the stream, and they did address that in the council meeting.
And I said it at the start of the show, and something I wanted to point out, I was watching it on YouTube, and I noted at the highest point, there were 88 live viewers on the YouTube stream. I mean, that's the highest number I've seen. That I don't remember there ever being more watching the council meeting in Bossier live.
That's the highest I've seen at one time.
So
except for maybe the tennis courts.
Yeah, maybe. Cindy Ulrich asked a great question. So after the charter business,
go ahead, and then I'll go back and address Ryan Hagood's question. Sorry, dude.
After the charter business with the city council voting 2-2 today on term limits, does that mean no ballot in December? Well, that's the story that we're fixing to explain to everybody where it stands and what they did at the council meeting today regarding term limits, because that was also voted on. And you probably all shouldn't be surprised, but go ahead and address Haygood, and then I'll come back to start explaining that to everybody.
Okay, so Haygood's question, let me find it here real quick. It was about who had the ethics complaint. So I have been given permission to share the names out and that these have been filed. But we've gotten word that there are ethics complaints against Parks, Whitman, and there's like a dual office holding as well, a triple office holding. So as far as I know right now, against Juliana and against Whitman, Vicky Whitman, we did not file those complaints. And I think Julie Ferris, thank you, Julie, she did post a link to the ethics board, so you can go search those, and once they get those posted at a certain point in the investigation, that is public information as well.
So anyway, so the council, today was the first reading, after the petition was submitted to the council and to the city, I should say. And so folks you gotta wear two hats here. You need to think about this in what is required of the city charter. And then you also need to think of it in the context of what is required of the bond commission. And in the city charter, it requires that, there be an ordinance or that it's passed by ordinance, and an ordinance requires 2 votes, right? So, or 2 readings. So today was the first time that the petition was read at the council meeting, and you all shouldn't be surprised, but it was a 2-2 vote failing. And the reason a 2-2 vote fails is because supposedly any ordinance has to have a majority of the total membership, which 4 is a majority of the total membership. So while there was only 4 members present, the articulation by the city attorney and I think the secretary of the council was that anything that's passed has to be passed it has to be passed unanimously, since there's only 4 people present.
Yes.
So
he did quote that from the charter. I can't remember which section it is, and I didn't go back and look. We'll assume he's correct.
Yeah. So yeah, we're assuming he's correct. I mean, somebody did say we should probably check that, but anyway, so of course, Jeffrey and Bubba Williams voted no. So where does that leave us?
I'm shocked.
Yeah, they voted no. And Chris Smith, in fact, I think we've got a cut of a statement that Chris Smith put out on his page. I think it would be good to bring that up to show folks if y'all haven't seen it already.
Yes,
but
we can do that.
Chris asked a lot of really good, pertinent questions. And if you want to read that or go through it, he may.
Yeah, I can read it, no problem. So Chris says, as an elected city councilman of Bossier City, I am committed to representing the voice and will of our citizens. The city attorney has confirmed that the petition is legally sound and meets all necessary requirements. According to Section 5.01 of our city charter, we are obligated to pass this petition. However, despite this clear mandate, the ordinance to move this issue to the ballot failed on a 2-2 vote with 3 members absent. I firmly believe in the principles of democracy and the importance of respecting the will of our constituents. The overwhelming support for this petition is a testament to the desire for change. As someone who has consistently supported term limits, I stand by the citizens who have worked tirelessly to bring this issue to the forefront. I will continue to advocate for the enactment of this petition and urge my fellow council members to respect the democratic process and the expressed will of the people. It is essential that we uphold the integrity of our charter and our commitment to the residents of Bossier City. Together, we can ensure that our city remains responsive transparent, and accountable to the people we serve, Chris Smith. And I'd also like to remind everybody, Brian Hammonds has been a staunch supporter of term limits as well, and the mayor.
Yeah. So where that leaves us, they voted, to not pass it, in which, they can very well do that. And so now what's going to happen is you're going to have another council meeting that'll be coming up. If I'm correct, I think it's August the 13th. And on August the 13th, you can guess they're going to probably vote no again and kill it. So then the charter says that if the city council doesn't pass it, that it automatically goes to the bond commission. Well, the little catch in the giddy up is that the bond commission doesn't accept anything but a resolution from the city for an item to be put on the ballot. Well, the city council just tried to appease the charter by passing an ordinance to which they voted against, and then they're going to vote again on an ordinance and they're going to vote against it. And that will end up being about August the 13th. So they have 30 days to take action. That's what the city charter says, that they have to do something within 30 days. They were given the petition on the 25th. So if you generally look forward, we're talking about August the 26th is when their 30 days would elapse, and they have not, concluded that business or moved it forward. So probably what they're going to do is they're going to take no action and force us to sue the city for a declaratory judgment to try to force them to send it to the bond commission. Well, the problem there is there's only about a week, about 7 days after once you get to the 26th, there's only about 7 days. You've got Labor Day is in within that time frame before you. And if you pull up the bond commission deadline, I see what cut is that.
Cut one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me just a second.
I'm going to show you all the timeline and what you're working on here. Highlighted that thing out. The next meeting date is September the 19th. Well, to your applications to be on the agenda for the September the 19th meeting are August the 20th. Well, we just talked about being right there at August the 26th, right? Their 30 days would be at August the 26th. So, but they have a 10-day deadline of September the 4th. You can still submit something to them and they can get it on there so long as it's before the 4th. Well, if we have to sue them from the 26th, or have a declaratory judgment and get a court to hear it, they're gambling that we can't get a judge in Benton to hear the case between the 26th and the 4th to get it to the bond commission. That's what they're trying to do, is run the clock out so that it can't make the December ballot. That's their whole game. That's what they're going to do.
Well, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna say something that we have admonished some of our other friends about telegraphing information. But I'm actually gonna give the good old boys a little heads up here. And Duke, you and I haven't talked about this either, so I'm just gonna throw it out there for a second. Elections can be invalidated by judgment and another election forced set at a future date. So if you jackasses keep fighting this, it's not going to turn out well for you.
Well, today's council meeting, Jeff Free was making, a lot of comments about the quantity of people, and that, from his, high perch, that he doesn't know anybody. Everybody's contacting him being against term limits. But I would contend that he probably hasn't visited Swan Lake Road and the people out there that's had to endure 2 years of a sewer pump in their front yard. he's probably not got off of the golf tee out there. And
Well, look, here's the funny thing. Jeff Free is my city councilman. Now, you would think, now, granted, I haven't tried to contact him because I don't really care to. But you would think he would reach out to me and say, hey, what is the real deal here or something, or try to break bread. He has done zero. And when I got up to speak today, he was trying to call into question whether I should be able to vote or not. Now, this survey was shared to us today, and then I added the districts at the bottom of it. But I want you to look at that, Jeff. So when I got up at the city council meeting today, and I stated that about 80% of people nationally support term limits, and so it's a safe assumption that approximately the same would in Bossier City. Look right there. What district is that? We're in city council or city district 4. Look at the amount of people surveyed that that were in favor of term limits. Gosh, it's about 77%. So I don't know who the hell you talked to, Jeff. And like we pointed out at the meeting, maybe you got your circle of friends off the golf course to talk about it, but you didn't go door to door and knock on hundreds of doors like Ryan Haygood, the Colonel did. I think Duke, you probably did over in this area as well. And whoever else, you didn't go out and knock on hundreds of doors, Jeff. That's complete BS. And again, like Juliana, you were on the absolute wrong side of the fence. And Duke, I want to bring up one more point that I brought up this morning.
But he does not, he absolutely does not care. He's just like Juliana. He does not care about the public. I mean, he has a circle. They have a circle to protect, and that's all they care about. The rest of you piss on you.
Yeah.
They don't care.
So the other point that I brought up today, and I addressed directly to Jeff and to Bubba Don, and I did couch it, and I told Bubba Don with all due respect, my main point was, and something I don't think they considered, and I'm sure Jacobs knew this, he just didn't disclose it when he was going on about the potential constitutional challenges and all that of the retroactivity. Well, I asked them directly, which one of you 4, because you're the only ones that matter on the retroactivity, are going to file suit? Which one of you? Because after you 4 are not elected, it doesn't matter about the constitutionality of retroactivity. It becomes a moot point at that time.
Well, and I think they're going to find that they are not going to prevail in that. I know that Jacobs was saying that there's not any case law, but there is case law on retroactivity, and anything that they do, it's nothing but a delay tactic. That's all it's going to be.
That's all smoke and mirrors. All right. What else do we have to talk about this evening?
Well, Jeffrey going on and on about how, Bossier City and proud of everything in Bossier City. Well, I got a little video that was sent to me today, and I think in the spirit of how proud Jeff Free is of Bossier City and where we are today, with people in Shady Grove, people in Swan Lake having to have 24-hour a day sewer pumps at $300 a day running nonstop, and they can't get a lift station, but yet for the bridge, the overpass to Benton to get a lift station before all of them. I think we need to show a little bit more video for people.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, we got a short video clip, and I got to say, at first glance, I thought it was from Shreveport. Hey, I want to point out one comment, and then we'll go to that video. Cindy Ulrich says,
but they say we don't want to be like other cities. I mean, but they don't say that we're already there. They don't say the quiet part out loud, and they don't want to acknowledge how we got there.
Well, but Cindy says, but if only those 77% would get up and vote him out, though, and referring to Jeff Free. Well, something I had forgotten about, Cindy, but Duke reminded me about, Jeff has never actually had to run, per se.
Jeff has never gotten a single vote in his district.
Yeah.
Ever.
The Colonel asked him, how many votes did you get, Jeff? And the Colonel didn't realize that at the city council meeting today. It's on the video. And he was like, short-circuited, didn't know what to say because literally nobody's ever voted for him.
He knew he didn't want to answer the question. He's never gotten a single vote.
Yeah. So you heard that here on Bossier Watch, but it's on the Secretary of State's website. You can go look up the voting deal. All right. So back to what Duke was referring to. So yeah, here's a video that, well, like I said, I thought it was a Shreveport at first. I had to do a double take and realize this was on Barksdale Boulevard. So here we go. That must be an Uber.
No, it's a little old lady, is what I was told, that had stopped in at a business to pick something up. And well, you guys can just watch the video. This is, I think, if I'm correct, it was yesterday. This happened yesterday. I mean, credit to Bossier City government for, making sure that public safety is a priority and not statues, and making sure,
Paying our policemen, paying our firemen,
yeah,
paying for
absolutely.
statues. Oh, look at that guy walking across the boy. He's running, isn't he? Oh, you turn. What the
Wait a
hell?
minute. Oh,
He lost his damn shoe. He lost his shoe.
He's still hanging on.
Y'all want to see that again? Let us know in the comments. You want to watch that again? I want to watch it again. I want to watch him lose. Yeah, I want to watch him lose his shoe again. So
he ran out of his shoes trying to chase this car.
I'm gonna scrub it up right here, and let's see where see him coming into frame over there on the left side. So here we go. What the hell? Whoops, whoops. Hey, give me a ride. Give me a ride. My shoe, my shoe. Whoops.
So,
I wonder if it knocked the hide off his feet and his toes.
So allegedly, and again, we had this sent to us this afternoon, that this individual was trying to, I don't know, what would you call it? He wasn't carjacking.
Well, he tried. He forgot the part about getting in the car, which he couldn't do because I'm sure she had it locked. Thank goodness.
Yeah, and allegedly, this guy was the guy that was involved in the shooting that resulted in somebody being murdered here a day or two before. I think it was on East Texas Street. And Bossier City Police, I wondered, Jeremy Watson, I see that you said that he's in custody. I mean, good job that they got him, but I understand that they had been looking for him. And, I'm just wondering if resources, time, or manpower, prevented them from being able to identify or find this guy sooner, if that is the case, and anyway, openly having carjackings in Bossier City, I don't recall that historically being a thing, but is that another one of the crowning moments of our local government?
That's what those guys that have been in there for 20 years on the city council, you're reaping what they're sowing right now.
So, and in addition to that, so Rex, I mean, look, we talked about this the other week. So all of you, if you're in Bossier City, and I know we have a little bit more to share on this subject, you all better tighten up. You better tighten up your bootlaces, and you better tighten up at your houses, because to address, word on the street is to address the pay issue with the Bossier City Police, that it's being shopped around about coming to the public for a tax increase to pay for it. They don't have enough money, so you got to come back to the public for a tax increase to be able to pay the policeman.
Oh, really? Well, it's those statues and all that. You got to have your priorities straight, Duke. The statues come first. Naming the damn carriageway after Walter Bigby 40 million times, that takes priority over paying our policemen to keep us safe. Who do their jobs even when they've got low pay and, as we've seen from those surveys, probably not the greatest morale.
And oh, by the way, this is going to come at the same time to where, we have it pretty good authority that almost all of the government entities are planning to roll forward every freaking tax that they can on all of you. I mean,
Right.
so Rex, correct me if I'm wrong, but basically what that means is the maximum allowable tax by law to be put on all of y'all currently is coming. It's
Yeah.
inbound. You can
Yeah.
all get ready for it.
And look, I'm no expert on taxes or millages. I mean, I know the basics of it and all that, and how all that roll forward process works. I'm still not completely clear on it. Maybe we need to reach out to Bobby Emmonson's office and see if he or one of his guys will come on in the future and they can explain how that roll forward process works, because I'm still a little fuzzy on it.
Oh, yeah, you better believe it, because I'm fuzzy too. And he will be the first person that's accused of raising everybody's taxes.
Oh, yeah.
That's the way it always works, but they're not the
Well,
guys.
no, but now
He,
technically he does the assessments. He doesn't raise the taxes.
well,
He
that's
does the
right.
assessments.
And we've hinted in a previous show recently about the reassessments were done here not too long ago, and they're going to roll forward all these tax. There's going to be a lot of people take some hits.
Yeah,
I mean,
so let's be clear. I don't want to interrupt you, but let's be clear in how the process works. The government bodies and entities all are benevolent overlords, like Juliana Parks on the police jury. They're the ones that set certain tax rates depending on the government body. The tax assessor's office does the assessments on the property values, ad valorem tax, and all that. And if you have a question about that, you can reach out to the tax assessor's office. And then it's the sheriff's department that is responsible for collecting those taxes. Am I pretty much got that part of it correct?
yeah, you got that. You got that right. And to not have to roll taxes forward on you increase means that they have to manage government. Which they say they manage government great. But if they managed government right, they wouldn't have to be rolling taxes forward. They could leave them static. They wouldn't have to be doing this. But because of them not able to control spending, um, guess what, guys? You're fixing to have to come off the hip with a whole lot more money. And
Yeah.
you
Be
know,
interesting to see which government bodies might have to do this.
so the things public safety in Bossier, we're already not paying our police, to a living wage, I would say. And now it's allegedly they're going to come at you for a new tax for that. And then in addition to that, you're probably going to get all your other taxes rolled forward, which means more taxes. So
Something
you
about
guys,
chickens coming home to roost type situation.
we've been saying it, and we've been saying it was coming, and you may be all fixing to see it. I don't.
Well,
I hope I'm wrong. I hope
and
I'm
look,
wrong.
I'll also point everybody over to Jeff Sadow's articles, because he does a good job of intricately breaking down this type of information. And I'll give a shout out to Colonel Crockett too, because he's there in the comments. He's been warning them for I don't know how long at the city council meetings. And again, based off of a lot of Jeff Sadow's information, as well as I think the colonel actually sits there and reads the budget. So very interesting. All right, Mr. Lowry. I've got a video, so folks don't leave just yet when we start kind of wrapping up, because I've got one short video involving Jeff Free that you're going to want to see, and we'll do that at the closing of the show. So don't hit the button to click off of the show just yet.
So I'm just curious. So the comments have kind of slowed a little bit. There's still about 150 of you guys, and I'm just wondering, what do y'all think? I mean, do you think? I mean, or do you think we're spinning this? Do you think we're lying about everything? Do you think that we're right here on a live show? We're talking out here to the public. Do you think we're deceiving all of y'all? Or are we just making this up? Because that's what your government officials are saying. They're saying that we're just sitting out here deceiving y'all. Do y'all think it's our intent to deceive you? I'm just wondering. You're watching the videos yourself. When we say it's a clown show, do you not think it's a clown show? Is that not a fair assessment?
Full of all manners of evilness and deceit. Look, I'll say this and we'll kind of start wrapping up. And again, don't leave because we've got unseen, unpublished video of Jeff Free coming up in here in just a second. But
And when
I'll
I didn't
say
even
that
get to talk about the Cypress District. And to this day, we still don't know who all got all the free boat stickers. We still don't know who got all the free cabins. We still don't know who all got all of the free camper parking.
that we know for a fact happened.
Well, we have sources that confirm to us
Okay.
that all these things happen. In fact, one of those same sources told us that park equipment was being used for personal stuff, to which I got in a vehicle, drove out, and videoed park equipment being used on private property. And I'm just wondering, I never heard Philip Rogers. I never heard Juliana Parks. I never heard any of them raise those issues. I never once heard any of that.
But Philip got his half-mile long boat dock, so he was happy. And Juliana's on the library board and every other board, and she's a lawyer for the sheriff, and da 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 da. And she's got her face everywhere, so she's happy too.
So how many of y'all watching the show, how many of y'all got free boat stickers and free cabins and, free motorhome rentals? Did any of y'all get a key fob to be able to come and go through the park entrance at will?
Go
Did
camping on a Monday?
Did any, I don't know that. I'm not saying that.
I was just saying, if I was going to go camping, it would be on a Monday. I would like to get a free pass too. I had never asked though. They probably wouldn't give me one.
But I mean, look, we're not just making that up out of thin air. I mean, we literally have people that have conveyed that information to us, and all I will say is for inquiring minds, appropriate authorities have been informed on those things that we believe were, well, let's just say they rise to a whole nother level entirely. And a lot of your benevolent overlord elected officials, quite a few names were named. A lot of names were named.
And that we do know for a fact.
Yep.
So Ricky Bridges, I want to point this out. So Ricky Bridges says he camped 4th of July. I want to say this. I went out to the fireworks display out on Cypress, took the boat out, took the wife out. We got out there, spot locked, and had just a great time, and it was a great fireworks display. So I do want to give a little credit to the Cypress District. Now, they might still be pulling some of the shenanigans at the meetings. I haven't attended any of the recent meetings, but I'll say this. That park was packed. There were 1,000 boats on the water. And I'm not overestimating much. So I think maybe with the new direction of the Cypress District, maybe that will get better. We will see over time. I'm not patting them on the back too much, but hopefully they'll start correcting that situation. All right. Shall we show the video of Mr. Free as we close this show out?
Sure. I don't know what you're going to show. I hadn't seen nor heard what you're going to. I have no idea. Again, I'm in the dark here.
All right, here we go. We'll comment on it for a minute, and then we're heading out.
I'm just here for the clown show.
I'm
just here for the clown show.
Just give us the clowns here. And well, here goes another clown. This was at the city council meeting today. This video was provided by Wes Marriott. Thank you, Wes.
Do you want to say anything about your vote? Do you want to say anything about your vote? Anything to vote to stop
Why did you vote no?
Excuse?
Why did you vote no?
Well, because I think your term limits happen every 4 years. Okay. That's a term limit.
Yeah.
So next year.
So you're against term limits generally?
Darn. You don't think the law obligates you to vote yes when it says shall pass?
Do I think so?
Yeah. I think I need to represent people in the district, even if that means breaking the law.
Okay. Wait, did you hear that? So let me back it up a little bit. Right after he swipes around his Mason's ring or whatever, listen closely.
Generally. Darn. You don't think the law obligates you to vote yes when it says shall pass?
Do I think so?
Yeah. I think I need to represent people in the district, even if that means breaking the law.
Okay. So there you have it, folks. What the charter says doesn't matter. Literally what the law says doesn't matter to them.
Sounds a lot like some princess I know.
Maybe they should team up, or maybe they already have. Anyway, all right. We appreciate everybody watching. We appreciate all the commentary. And if y'all keep commenting, we do try to check them, and y'all just have all the discussion you want. Keep it, our rule is simple, keep it relatively civil. And of course, y'all know the drill. If you got information you want to share with us, go make your free Proton Mail account. Don't put any identifying information in it. And send us an email to bossierwatch@protonmail.com or bossierwatch@gmail.com. We appreciate everybody watching 218 shows.
Hey, and I want to give a shout out to H-Town, Halton. Look.
Oh, yeah.
I want y'all all to know, been working on something, and you guys have 3 candidates for mayor out in Halton. And I want you to know, reached out to all 3 of them to ask if they were all interested in participating in a debate, to which all 3 of them said, yeah, they would be interested in participating in a debate. So if you live out in Halton, we're trying to put that together to have a debate between those. I will also let you know that Town of Plain Dealing, they have 3 people running for mayor as well. We sent an email and we have gotten no response from any of the candidates for mayor in Plain Dealing as to whether they would or would not. So H-Town is on the fast track. They've all agreed that they'd be willing to participate. We're trying to put that together, and we're going to have that here pretty soon for y'all as well.
Yeah. And like Colonel Crockett says, like and subscribe. Go over to the YouTube channel, even if you don't use YouTube that much, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Share this content out. When we say something, we usually back it up with at least partial facts or video or something, and we're just using their words against them. It's what they're saying. Again, folks, like I said in the beginning, if they quit saying stupid stuff and doing dumb stuff, we wouldn't have anything to talk about, would we, Duke?
We just talk about hunting and fishing.
We
and
just go
my,
hunting
how
and fishing.
great a day that would be.
We go hunting, fishing, and crawfishing and just call it a day. All right, folks. Mr. Lowry, anything else?
Good night, folks. Thank y'all.
We're out of here.